When did this collar appear around my neck? How long did it take to find the other end of the chain, which was bolted to the ceiling of the large room in my apartment? How much time passed before I realized that the length of the chain was only enough to move between rooms, to wander the hallway, to touch the windows with an outstretched hand, to try to grasp the handle of the front door, unsuccessfully, of course. I must have been locked up here for a long time, by my reckoning, since the clock has stopped. The sky outside the windows is a gloomy gray, always shrouded in a blanket of leaden clouds. How many times, hanging on this chain, have I tried to pull it out of the ceiling? To no avail. Then I wanted to hang myself, but it didn't work. Not because I feared death, but because after hanging for a quarter of an hour in a makeshift noose of the chain, I realized that I had been breathing out of habit. Because a person needs air, but as it turned out, I don't anymore. I used to come back to this apartment 5 days a week, 12 months a year, with rare exceptions, and there were no problems. But sometimes I would sharply realize that there was no one inside. That when I turned the key and unlocked the door, I would enter and be alone. And then a wave of dread would wash over me. Sometimes I even had to smoke a couple of cigarettes before going in. By the way, when did they run out? If I could have seen the future, I would have taken my paycheck, bought blocks of some cheap brand like Java, and stuffed the balcony with cigarettes. That would have been extremely useful in this situation, as I can't even open a window, let alone put on sneakers and run to the store for cigarettes. What a disaster. Over time, the colors began to fade, and for the last, let's say, a couple of months, I've been observing a very rich gray-on-gray palette, brimming with all shades of gray mixed with more gray. This apartment once seemed like a refuge from the street, with its ever-present riffraff, drunks, people in general. But the refuge ended when I crossed the threshold. Silence. Immediately unlock the windows so that the outside world can be heard. Turn on the music, and if it's dark, the light. Occupy myself with anything. I didn't even notice when the walls started closing in. The hallway became narrower, the windows smaller, the darkness thicker. I just kept myself busy with anything, ignoring such trifles, and then, bam! I wake up, chained to the ceiling, alone, completely alone, with former neighbors occasionally scurrying up the stairs, the chatter of neighborhood kids, and the drunken yells of alcoholics. Basically, everything that wildly irritated me in my previous life, or perhaps in life in general. Things that now offer hope and at least illusorily save me from loneliness. If only someone, anyone, would come, say a simple hello, and talk to me. It would be wonderful. Now I have so much to tell, so much to listen to. Dreams. I forgot to mention that when I recently looked into the only mirror in the apartment, I screamed hysterically for half an hour. Or rather, I rasped or wheezed, like the sound usually made by suddenly revived corpses in second-rate horror films. So any potential interlocutor would probably wet their pants and disappear over the horizon in less than a minute. Yet another disappointment to add to the long list of afterlife letdowns. So I used some tools lying on the balcony, the chain, and a few pieces of scrap metal to make shackles, to somehow detain a potential conversation partner and encourage dialogue. After all, if they disappear, someone will start looking for them, right? They'll come here, and bam, another conversation partner, and then another and another and another. Folks, it's so cozy here, I clean up very often. I need something to keep myself busy. Let's sit and chat about anything, please. I miss speech so much. Silence, nothing but silence and grayness, and no one. Wait, someone is fumbling with the rusty lock. Just open it, just come in. Friend, I have so much to tell you.